Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with podcast number 133. Today we have the 5 questions sent in. And remember, if you have a question, send it to support at bsffacademy.com. One more time, support at bsffacademy.com. Here we go. Question number 1. Does your Alex and Ryan call center work on weekends? No, actually not. This last weekend, I kind of wish they would because we had 56 unanswered phone calls. And we're seriously thinking about, because we're buying all over the country, seriously thinking about operating the center on both Eastern and Pacific times. So where they would normally get here at 8 o'clock in the morning and work until 5, that we'd have a shift that would get here at 5 in the morning, be relieved after so many hours, and another shift would come in and work until 5. And then the Saturday thing is absolutely something we're thinking about. But right at the very moment, no, we're just Monday through Friday, excluding the major holidays and what have you, 8 to 5. And the calls that are missed, both during the week, because I think Monday we had 102 calls missed because we were just slammed on calls. They all go to voicemail. We call them back anyway, and as well as the texts and the pay-per-click. So, in fact, our pay-per-click we turn off on weekends because I think it's so important that you follow up with that as soon as you can. And so we don't have the pay-per-click on Saturdays and Sundays, and we only have it Monday through Friday so that we can. But if we did go to a Saturday and a work schedule, we'd absolutely do that. One of the, things that we always have to concern ourselves with is we can have we can generate opportunity, so lead generation, and we can have lead capture, so we can make the phone ring and we can answer the phone. But the reality is our Ryan system, or Ryan stage of our business is so slammed with an abundance of appointments to buy houses that our fulfillment, so our lead fulfillment part of our business, we're really trying to work on right now because we have so much opportunity that it's some of the opportunity we know is going sideways because we can't honor it fast enough. And so just because we could work a weekend or make the phone ring more won't really help that. And that's where we're concentrating a lot of our efforts on now. Good problem to have, but a bad problem to have too. I mean, it's a manifestation of spending too much money on marketing or having systems that are actually performing too well. And so we've got to work on that. I'm not a believer in turning down something that's working really well. I'm a believer in fixing what's where the clog is. So we're going to fix that clog. Question number 2. It's an extenuation question. If not, what does your recording say when people call you from your mailers or your pay-per-click campaign? It's a 2-minute infomercial. So it basically says why we want to buy your house, who we are, what kind of person we are. Very much discloses that we're real estate investors if they haven't figured that out already. And it answers, I think it's really important when you have a voicemail to answer all the questions professionally. And we use a lot of embedded commands in our voicemail. And it's read by a male. We found that the male voicemails work better than the female voicemails for what we do. Some industries, the female voicemails work better. But in this one, a guy does. So we tell them why we're calling or why we're marketing to them and what they can expect from us. So I think it's an important part of what we do. Question number 3, what do you pay your Alexes and Ryans? Keep in mind that all of my Alexes, everybody starts as a temp serve person. So I use a temp serve agency, and naturally I dictate to them what I'm willing to pay them for their labor. But I start everybody out at a moderate wage. So, they're not going to get rich, but it's better than minimum wage. I don't think we can pay our people enough. And the labor part of what we do is the insignificant part, especially when we're averaging right now $34,000 a transaction. You can have a lot of labor at the transaction level that we're at. So that's the small part. And so I don't ever worry about how much you're going to pay your people. I think it's important though and prudent to, in the beginning of someone's career with you or period of time that they're with you, that you don't overpay them until they can prove that they can actually perform. And then once they do that, then absolutely fall forward. And Our Alexes don't have any bonuses on them, but our Ryans do. So they get paid when we actually have an opportunity. And again, it's more of a appreciation bonus than a huge bonus. But they love it, and we'll fall forward with that.
Thanks for listening to Buy, Sell, Fix, Flip. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. What do you pay your angel? The angel position is pretty important. I think that is a position that you really want to honor from a paycheck perspective. And so we have some guidelines set up that the angels can participate in the actual profitability of a transaction. So they can have, it's almost like they can have their business inside of my business, which is kind of a cool thing for them because they're so instrumental in pushing the snowball and process forward. Although the system itself is responsible for doing that, someone ultimately has to be in a position to make sure that folks are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that those little fires that start, and the fires start every day, are put out and extinguished as fast as possible. And then the Ryans and the Alexes are pretty blind from an opportunity perspective because they don't know a lot about real estate or anything about real estate. And the angel isn't blind. So what I mean by that is when an angel listens or negotiates, they'll hear things from the person they're negotiating that the Alex and the Ryan won't, that causes something better or more positive to happen in that contract and negotiation stage. And so I think that kind of stuff is pretty important. Now, I'm a firm believer never to have a superstar in your business. So even though I put a lot of weight on my angel isn't necessarily the position of a superstar. So if they left, my business wouldn't leave with them. So I think it's always important that you understand that you have to have a very, very qualified person in that arena. But at the end of the day, that person could go away and your business wouldn't go with them. So it's no different than having a really good CFO or CEO or COO who really does a good job at what they do, but the systems around them are in place. And so if they go sideways, your business doesn't go sideways. So hopefully that makes sense for those of you that are listening. Question number 5, who in your company manages the processes once the Alex and Ryans get a contract signed? The system actually manages it. We have it detailed in a way or systemized in a way that, there's steps, do this step, do this step, do this step, do this step. And every time you do a step, another step fires up. So we're not overburdening our transaction coordinators, but the system's telling the transaction coordinators how to manage a contract and how to, from an opening up the closing or an escrow to managing the utilities, managing the maintenance, managing the resale, managing the listing, all those kinds of good things, getting the BPOs, getting the appraisals, all that kind of stuff. You can't, again, I'm going to always say, you can't rely on people to do something or to remember to do something. There has to be systems behind them that tell them to do it. And when you have that, then your business can't be broken, I guess. And there's nothing worse than all of a sudden getting to something and going, oh gosh, so-and-so forgot to do something. That was pretty huge. Well, they can't forget it because the systems keeps telling them to do it. So, so it's transaction coordinator, I guess, is the simple answer to your question. But it's really the system that's telling the transaction coordinator what to do. And again, that transaction coordinator has never managed a transaction before. So again, the best system that you can put in place is a system where the person that's managing it or running it doesn't in fact know why they're doing what they're doing. They just know what to do because the system's saying, do this, do that, say this from a script perspective. And it's I think a beautiful thing. And again, any of you folks that are listening and you on the Ryan and the Alex system, You can come down for 2 days, sit in a chair. It's $14.97, and you can be an Alex one day, and you can be a Ryan another day. And I tell you what, that 2-day training, or you can send someone that's inside of your organization. After those 2 days of training, whoever that person is will absolutely be able to buy houses without ever seeing someone, because they're going to learn how to do it from a systemized perspective. And so I always invite people, if they want to do that, absolutely fall forward and do it. And this was a fun one. One of the things I'm going to add, question number 6, what's coming, what's new? And for those of you that are wanting to explore new opportunity and new ways of communicating with your seller, you might find this advantageous and interesting. But we're actually implementing, and you should see it if you go to our websites that are our house buying websites. But we're implementing chat. Like, when you're communicating with most industries or business-to-business industries, you see chat service. But you don't see a chat service in the consumer-to-business from a house buying perspective. But we're actually implementing that, since we do have all the Alexes sitting there in front of a computer screen, and we do such a large volume of pay-per-click, that we're wanting to capture that person as fast as we can. And, pay-per-click is great, but there is time delay on that, because, they're filling out the form, and then they're waiting for that form to come to us, and they're waiting for it to be assigned to an Alex, and the Alex has to be available to call them back. So there could be a 15, 20, 30-minute time delay. And we know that that person that's sitting there on their side of their computer filling out forms, they're ordering a pizza kind of thing. They're urgent mood to sell a house. So we're implementing chat so we can grab them as fast as we can. So if they like the computer perspective or approach, we're tying that right to that phone call. So, and the chat service is integrated into our CRM system, so we don't lose data. There's not a data slowdown. So, that's one of the most important things, is that when you collect data, that you don't have to have double entry. So when you collect it, it enters itself. And so that's the important part about the systemization is having the chat service feed your CRM system automatically, so you're not doing double entry, and you can be as fast from a response perspective with the prospect as you can. So that's what we're implementing. If anybody's interested in knowing what's coming and what's new for us, and thanks so much for the questions. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.